The idea, my grandfather's idea for a customer care is not about the sale or the transaction you're making now, but the person you're dealing with. Your kids go to school, your grandmothers went to church together, you're going to be in a meeting with them or sit next to them in a pew. So there's all kinds of places that the fact that you're dealing with someone in a transaction, it's really more about the relationship. So seeing them once is not as important as the fact that I'm going to see these people a lot over and over again, whether at a store, whether back here at Nacols or my neighbor.
Welcome back to the Falls Home Front, the podcast where we talk about what makes Wichita Falls such a special place to live, work, and build a life. Today's guest is someone whose family is literally woven into the history of the city. I'm joined by Jeff Nacol Turnbo, fourth generation leader of Nacols Jewelry, a Wichita Falls institution that dates all the way back to 1889. If you've ever celebrated a milestone, an engagement, anniversary, or special family moment, there's a good chance Nacols played a role in it. Jeff, thanks for being here. I'm really excited for this conversation.
I'm glad to be here.
Let's start with the story because it's an incredible one. Nacols Jewelry dates back to 1889, which is hard to even wrap your head around. When you think about being the fourth generation leader of a family business, what does that mean to you?
The first thing that comes to mind is my grandfather making this statement, "Don't screw it up." Family business is funny because you're only given the opportunity to take what you've been given, but you have to run that ball and go forward with it. So family business is great. You get a chance to just live in a community, work inside the community, just be a part of it. And as my grandfather and great-grandfather were in the business, so are my sons and daughters.
That's something that sounds really powerful, that you're not just selling jewelry, but you're a steward of a reputation that's been built over more than a century.
Family business. Nacols has been here. This is our 136th anniversary. We are been in Wichita Falls a long time. We actually started in Eunice, Louisiana. So I have a picture on my wall of my great-grandfather in a horse and buggy. And it says Samuel Joseph Nacol Jewelry and Merchandise. So is our store. And no cars, just dirty roads and buggies.
Yeah, that's great. How were the values of the family business passed down to you?
The idea, my grandfather's idea for a customer care is not about the sale or the transaction you're making now, but the person you're dealing with. Your kids go to school, your grandmothers went to church together, you're going to be in a meeting with them or sit next to them in a pew. So there's all kinds of places that the fact that you're dealing with someone in a transaction, it's really more about the relationship. So seeing them once is not as important as the fact that I'm going to see these people a lot over and over again, whether at a store, whether back here at Nacols or my neighbor.
So is that something that was talked about in your family or something that you just learned and picked up by watching?
I had good mentors and I started pretty young. I was about 5 minutes into 18 years old when I started this. I left high school, and before I started MSU, I was working in the jewelry stores. It was expected to plug in, do it. So watching them do it and take care of people and learn, and I had some really good mentors.
Oh, that's great. And I think that's something that people really feel when they walk into your store. There's trust there. Recently, the space has received recognition from the Wichita Falls Chamber, and it's very well deserved. You have a beautiful store. What inspired you to invest in this space the way you did?
Nacols Jewelry was downtown for a long time. When I grew up, I remember down in 8th and Indiana, downtown, there was Kruger's across the street, Zales, Kay's, all the jewelry stores were downtown. So when we moved on Kent Boulevard in the early 80s, we were there from 80s to just recently. And that building did a lot of work, but we were in there almost 40 years, and it had its days. It was old when we moved into it. We just got lucky finding a building in Wichita Falls that's over 7,000 square feet, that's freestanding, didn't want to rent. I wanted to own it and really build character into it. It was a hard find. And it was a restaurant. We were in here eating, me and my 100 kids and family members. And I thought this would make a great jewelry store because the building has arches all the way through it, brick arches that look so much like Midwestern state. They did a lot of work on how they designed it. And I thought, if we can do this, it would be really a beautiful space. I went home that night and found the building for sale.
Oh my.
So just got lucky at the moment.
Yeah.
It took us probably 2 years from idea to opening to get it from a restaurant that served fajitas into a place that we can do jewelry.
Oh, that's a great space, very upscale. It's got a good blend, I think, of a modern open concept store and the brickwork inside, like what you talked about with the arches. It's a nice space. I enjoy going there. We live in such a digital world now with online shopping and everything at your fingertips. What makes a physical space still matter, especially for a local business?
I took a picture of Sykes Center about a week ago, and business is booming and swamped, and that whole side of the mall was empty. And you can blame Amazon, you can blame online, you can blame a lot of things for the kind of the altered state of retail, but I gotta blame businesses for it. So much of it is if you don't have someone standing behind a counter that can look at a person across and say, this person's important, you can pay staff and you can have franchises in multiple locations. But if you don't have someone right there looking someone in the face thinking, this might be the most important transaction they've made sometimes in their whole life at that point. You have a 25-year-old guy buying an engagement ring for a girl. That might be the most significant thing he's ever done. So to come in, to feel like you're taken care of, to feel like it's a good experience. We talk about it with our staff. We're blessed with 30 people that work here at Nacols in 1889. And we always say the experience is more important than what they're buying. Because you can leave with a bag, or you can leave with something in your hand, around your neck, or however, in your ears. But I want to hear more of how they felt. Oh, that was so nice. That was a great experience. Or I brought my mom with me, or my grandmother bought here. That's what makes retail work. Because granted, if you're buying a book or you're buying something that's just really generic, okay, fine, you can get it. But jewelry is a very experience-driven idea. So we feel like every year for us, retail has gotten better and it's gotten more important on how they feel what's going on.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. That's something that you really can't get online. That personal interaction. And what did that the chamber recognition mean to you, not just as a business owner, but as someone who clearly cares about this community?
It was really a surprise because we didn't have any clue about this. We had no note about it, but we got the award, and it was called the Permanent Space Award. And it just it gave honor to the building and what was done to it. And it brought a building that really kind of goes shout out back to the McBride family, because the McBrides built this building as Zocalo's restaurant back in the day. And they didn't cut corners, solid brick and great construction work. And it was obviously meant to last. So all we had to do is take that idea of what they'd foundationally built and make it into a jewelry store. And you kind of said something about it too, about what that award meant in the space. There's a lot of jewelry stores I walk into and it feels stuffy. And there's a lot of places I don't feel comfortable in. I've been in some of the nicest places in the jewelry stores in the world, and this doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like a good experience. If people don't walk in a building and feel like it's a combination of scaled nicely, but it's kids can be playing in there, and a lady brought her dog in a couple of days ago, and we were playing ball in the jewelry store with her puppy, because it's about the extension of my business is an extension of my home. So when someone's in it, rather than my living room, in my house, or in my jewelry store, I want them to feel the same. So when the city said your space did, that was incredible. That was lovely.
Oh, that's great. And one thing that really stands out is the 1889 cake and coffee bars being part of the experience. Most people don't expect to grab a cup of coffee in a jewelry store. So I'd love to hear the thinking that went into that.
That was the biggest gamble. And it was funny because we partner with a lot of jewelry stores. We work with them all over the United States. And almost generally across the board, people said, that is a terrible idea. It doesn't make any sense. I don't want people with food in my store. I don't want drinks in my store. I don't want kids in my store. And I said, I want everyone in Wichita Falls to come in here. I don't care if they're in overalls or they just got out of the oil patch or they've been farming or working in their garden. I don't care. I want them to have an experience. And my daughter-in-law has been making wedding cakes for years. She does a phenomenal job doing weddings. So I perform a lot of weddings as an officiant and a minister, and she does a lot as a cake decorator. So we took part of the building and allocated 1889 Cake and Coffee Bar. And the name 1889 is the year we started. So a lot of people ask, where did 1889 come from? That's when our store opened in November of 1889 in Louisiana. Having a space for that, it was about families and people are in there and people doing Bible studies and doing homework and nurses are charting, and it's just a place to hang out. I've had people that have come here. We've been here about 18 months, maybe almost 20 months. And I've had people that have gone in there 2 times a week. The whole time has never actually come into the jewelry store side. 100% thrilled to death with it, because if I have a space for them, I want them to come and just have an experience. Because if I can deliver a cup of coffee with the same love and care that I'm delivering a $50,000 Rolex, it doesn't make any difference to me. If they're happy either way, I'm thrilled to death.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And it's a good space to come, sit, talk, do a little
Love
work. And then there's the outside tables as well. Those are really nice.
I would love to do more outside. Texas is always not very forgiving on its climate, but we would love to do a little more outside the building.
Yeah, it's a neat little space outside there with the tables.
Thanks.
How do you feel that the food and the retail atmosphere kind of work together? People being able to come there and just enjoy the space.
It's super important. I get to work sometimes early, hours before the jewelry store opens, but the coffee bar opens at 7 a.m. So I'm coming into the side of the jewelry store that's still locked, and I look in the windows, because from the jewelry store you can see into the bakery and jewelry and coffee shop, you can see in. So I'll see 15 people, 20 people in there, 8 people, whatever, just doing life in there, whatever it is. We purposely have no drive-through. We're not trying to deliver a product. And that was such a big deal, because I'm not trying to make it faster. I'm not trying to make it more efficient. I'm trying to make it slower. I'm trying to slow down your life a little bit. What would it be like to sit down with a girlfriend or a wife or your mom and just have a frappe or get a cappuccino or get a slice of cake? Shelby every week makes different cakes. So they sell cakes by the slice over there. So every week they're doing brand new flavors. So people come in just to have a slice of cake together. So I get to see that every single day.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let's talk about jewelry itself for a moment. In a world where trends are changing so fast, why do you think that jewelry still holds such a deep meaning for people?
Jewelry, everything we do here, nobody needs. It's a funny concept. You don't need cake, you don't need coffee, you don't need jewelry. Everything we do is about an experience and a feeling. If you look back at just even in the idea of King Tut, and you go back thousands of years, and how ceremonially jewelry was important. It signified who you are or what you did or a station in life, or if you're married or not. I don't go a day where I can look down at my finger and go, I'm married, I have a bride, a wife, and this is its symbology to it. The things we choose to wear, this was for my birthday present. It's a designer, old antique pin. It's a bee. And my grandfather had beehives. Oh. So whenever I think of bees and I think of family in the old days, and my staff and my wife got this together, and my wife did this for me. And it's not a piece of metal. It's part of a memory. Yes. So I think that's why, as long as people celebrate life, birthdays, baptisms, weddings, there'll always be a need for some type of jewelry.
That's amazing. Have you seen that firsthand, having families come back again and again over the decades, maybe the generations come through?
I hate to say it, as I get older, I see more of it, but we've had 4 generations in the store together.
Yes.
And daughter a few years ago brought me something from her grandmother's attic, and she had some stuff in their attic, and they were taking some stuff down, and they had a newspaper from a Nacols Jewelry ad when we were on Ohio, which was way before my time. I think in like 1954, it was an article and a little ad and stuff. And then she brought me a ring box from her mom from like the 70s. So I just saw that all in front of me. It was such a neat moment.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's amazing. One thing that really resonates with me is how consistently that you show up for the community. How do family and faith influence the way that you lead and make decisions in your business?
I think the things that changed my life the most involved those things.
Mm-hmm.
Work changed my life because it was the purpose of how I made money for my family, and marriage and my wife to my bride Shannon changed my values and what I thought was important with my kids, and my faith in church has a purpose that's much higher than me. So putting that back all into the community and what we're supposed to do, I don't think I would want to live in a community that people didn't want better for each other and help out and take care of things. My son, who's been in the business a while, he's getting good. For our anniversary sale, he wanted to change it. He said, I don't really want to do it like an anniversary sale because really, who cares? So we do something called our 24 Karat Kids charity event. Mm-hmm. Every year for our anniversary, instead of promoting that, we raise money for kids programs. Oh. So we get to raise money for a weekend, and it's really turned into all kinds of crazy things. And you talk about space. Yes. The fact that on Kemp, we didn't have any room, but here, this parking lot, it's 100 some odd parking spaces. So my son brought in a bouncy houses and trains and a petting zoo and live music. And we did a whole weekend thing for kids and raised all kinds of money. And it had really nothing to do about us. Mm. We just had a space for it. So for kids. So it was wonderful.
Last question. This one is for anyone that's listening who might be part of a family business or a legacy brand. What advice would you give to other business owners who are trying to honor tradition while still investing, innovating, and preparing for the future?
I think the most important advice I would give anyone that wants a legacy business would probably be this. It's never about the sale you're making. It's never about that one transaction. It's about what you're doing that goes forward with that. Am I making a friend? Am I helping the couple? Do they understand? If I make money on a transaction that they're never coming back and don't have a good experience, it shortens your lifespan. Mm. But I want everyone as best I can. You can't bat 1,000, but you just want everyone to go, man, that's something I would want to be a part of again, or that's something I want to bring a friend in. Our referral business is what drives our business. We almost don't have legacy traditional marketing. We don't have very many because 90% of our business is word of mouth and social media. My advice is to think that every transaction builds for your future, not for your current. You got to pay your bills, but you got to make sure you're taking care of your future with the relationships you're making.
This has been such a great conversation, and I appreciate you sharing your story and the heart behind your business and the vision for the future. For anyone who's listening, if you haven't experienced Nacols Jewelry or stopped in the cake and coffee bar, do, because you're missing something special. Jeff, please tell us, how would people connect with you other than just walking in your store? What ways can they find you?
Yeah. Facebook is still alive and kicking for us. You can find me on Jeff Nacol Turnbo on Facebook. You can email me, jeff@nacols.com. You can come in, we can sit down and chat and have a cup of coffee. Find me at church, find me anywhere, because as the business continues to grow, I remove myself more from the little transactions to the people relation. So come find me. Let's have some fun.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for coming on this show. Really appreciate your input.
Well, thanks.
And thank you to everyone that's listening to the Falls Homefront. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe and share it with someone who also loves Wichita Falls. And I'll see you next time. Appreciate you tuning in. Want more insider tips on buying, selling, and investing in Wichita Falls and North Texas? Subscribe now and keep watching. Your next move starts here.